The following presentation was recorded at the Menditto Amplification Annex of Maggio Music Center in Brooklyn, New York. Hello and welcome back to the workshop. We have much to talk about, but we will put that aside for the moment and get directly to the point of this video. This is an electrical current generator. I know you're saying, well, that's an electric guitar. Right. The electric guitar actually generates its own power. So when you plug this phone jack into the guitar, it's not inserting power into the guitar. The guitar is sending power out to the amplifier. Now that's happening through electromagnetic induction. So you have your steel strings. It's actually an alloy of steel and nickel, both of which are ferromagnetic metals. And then you have your pickups. These pickups date back to 1932. They were invented by the Rickenbacker company. And what's going on here? There are permanent magnets at the base. In this case, the permanent magnets are called Alnico 2 magnets. Alnico is an alloy of aluminum, nickel, and cobalt, and 2 is the designator for the type of alloy, the ratio of the metals in there. The permanent magnets have pole pieces that pop up through, and you can see that there's 6 pole pieces with adjustment screws there, and there are more that are under this cover. And then there are bobbins that are wound with a very thin insulated copper wire to make a long continuous coil. One end of that coil is grounded to the barrel of this plug, and the strings are also grounded to the barrel of this plug. The other end of that electromagnetic coil goes to the tip of this plug. So when you strum the strings, you are actually, your force, the kinetic energy that you're putting into plucking the strings, is actually creating electricity. The string is vibrating in front of the pickup, and that is disrupting the magnetic field, and then it's exciting the coil and sending out electricity to the amplifier. Now, we're not even going to plug in an amplifier to demonstrate this. We're going to do it with a voltmeter. You set your voltmeter to AC. Pull our 1980s tray table up over here. And see if you can see that, right? You know, I think after tuning the guitar, it went out of tune again. It's the G string as usual, because G strings, they seem sexy, but they're actually a real pain up the butt. I've used that joke in another video. Gibsons, man. Well, that's pretty hopeless. Anyway, as you can see, we are generating electricity, alternating current. So, now I know you're saying, well, there are some guitars that take a battery to power them with active pickups. Well, an active pickup is really quite the same as this. It's a lower impedance, less windings, less powerful generator, and then it uses an amplifier within that unit to send out a signal roughly akin to what this is sending out. And there are also acoustic guitars. Okay? You don't have any pickup like that on there, so how does this work? There is something called a piezo transducer pickup that uses the vibration to generate electricity. Well, how does that work? The word piezo means to squeeze or press in Greek, and a piezoelectric element actually creates electricity when you apply force to it. So if you have a digital scale, if you're weighing yourself in the bathroom, or your contraband, like some of you watching this video are probably messing around with right now. Anyway, underneath this saddle piece, there is a piezoelectric element, and then there's a 9-volt battery in here that amplifies it, and that generates electricity, and then it's already amplified a little bit by that amplifier powered by the 9-volt battery, and then you send it out through your phone jack. And that's how these things work. So, the past couple of weeks have been, now we're going to get to the conversation part, because I'm assuming that all of the short attention people have already stopped watching the video. Past couple of weeks have been rather hectic, had a lot going on, and the past few days this week were really strenuous and a lot of work. I can describe succinctly in 2 4-letter words my week so far: cold and snow. So I apologize for not making any videos sooner for you guys, and I was distracted by some construction projects that we had going on here, but that's all over now. Let's turn this off. Let's move our 1980s folding table out of the way. I'm sitting on my 1980s folding chair. I like my folding stuff. Last video presentation, or video, I stopped making full production presentations because you guys kept asking if I was artificial intelligence, and no, I'm a real person. You guys didn't like my highly produced stuff, I guess. You wanted something more real. So I am real. Here are all my flaws in 4K. Now I am coming off as unhinged. Anyway, so in the next video that I make for you guys, we are going to get back to this 1966 Fender Deluxe Reverb refurbishment project and figure out why valve 2, tube number 2, is making intermittent popping, crackling, scratchy noises, and we need to finish this and get it back to the customer because he wants it back once and for all. Been working on this for a long time, and I'm also, this has been a real process. There have been so many different little gremlins that I'm chasing down, and I started recording all of that in my old format where I was just I wasn't showing my face, and I was narrating over the videos and making everything very scripted. But apparently people are starved for real content because everything is now computer generated. So I thought that I would just do something kind of raw. And yeah, I'm going on, and it's very rough. I have no script. I have no idea what I was going to do or say here. I just sat down in front of the camera and started talking. And so the reason why I brought this guitar out, this is my latest acquisition. This is my 1989 Gibson ES355 Lucille B.B. King guitar. And I got this from Mike Maggio at the store, from his collection. He made me an offer that I couldn't refuse. And when an Italian guy makes you an offer that you can't refuse, you take it. Anyway, so I got this guitar from him a few days after what would have been B.B. King's 100th birthday back in September. And he gave it to me with a new set of Diodario 9s on it. And he said, you're probably going to want to change those 9s, but you see, he and I were both getting a little old, so, light tension strings are good for your arthritis, but it just wasn't right for this guitar. So I was outside dealing with the snow for hours, and in my hypothermic delirium, I started thinking some really dark thoughts. And then I started thinking some really megalomaniacal thoughts. And then I came inside and decided, you know what? I need to change the strings on this guitar. So I put 10s on it. And in doing that, I started thinking about what am I doing to this guitar by adding or putting higher tension, bigger strings on it, thicker strings. And you're adding more tension to the guitar, and that is increasing the acoustic resonance. It's increasing the load and the strain being put on the instrument. It's more potential energy because the strings are now a little bit tighter. So when you apply kinetic energy to that, it's going to be more powerful. It's going to make more resonance. But what it's also doing is it's putting a larger mass of metal in front of these pickups, and that's going to produce more electrical energy as well. So I just thought that you guys would find it interesting where my thought pattern was going, that I don't know if many people really understand. You play this instrument for decades, and do you really know what's going on and what you are doing? You are creating electricity. Your neurological impulses from your brain to going through your nervous system, powering your muscles, it's all electric. So from your brain to your fingertips, strumming these strings and out to the amplifier, it's a seamless just flow of electrons. And it's very low latency, zero latency. It's happening at the speed of light. So that's why I like to play guitar with nothing much more than just a 10-foot cable guitar right to the amplifier. It is the purest, most uninterrupted way to express yourself. There's no other instrument in the world like it. You are in direct control of the flow of electrons. And that's especially so when you're using a vacuum tube amplifier. We're going to get into that in another video, how vacuum tubes amplify and how that differs a little bit from how transistors work or MOSFETs. But anyhow, I thought that you would find this interesting. And I also wanted to show you my new to me, very old B.B. King guitar. And maybe let's talk a little bit about this guitar. So it's an ES355. This guitar weighs like 10 or 11 pounds. It's heavy. It's like a Les Paul Custom. It's double bound. It's just weighs a ton. And it is semi-hollow. You have I guess this is a laminate maple that they form. And it has no F-holes, which you've probably noticed. So when you have one of these ES series guitars, they usually have no back panel. You access all the electronics through the F-holes. And that's kind of a pain in the butt. We'll be YouTube friendly with our language. But this guitar actually has an access panel on the back, so that's kind of cool. And you can see the wood insert pieces that are in there when you open it up and how it's constructed. And the other very obvious thing about this guitar that differs it from other guitars in the ES series, well, two things. You have this fine-tuning bridge. Gibson came out with this bridge, and I believe in the mid-'70s, and they used it on some Les Pauls, and then it came and went in the lineup. But I guess B.B. King liked it, and they put it on this guitar for him. The other thing that this has, it has this veritone control. And the reason why this control works on this particular guitar, these are Gibson 490 humbuckers. And the 490 humbucker is very similar to the old PAF patent applied for Alnico 2 pickups, except that these are 4-wire pickups, actually 5 with the ground, I believe it's 5. But instead of the just 2 wires and the coils being connected together, you can individually manipulate the coils, and you can do coil tapping, and you can make them parallel single coil, all that This has some resistors and capacitors in there. I haven't really looked at the schematic diagram on exactly how it works, but it works in conjunction with the ability to manipulate each individual, because this is a humbucker pickup. It's two single coil pickups that are wired together in series to reduce 60 cycle hum. You can also put them in parallel. You can cut one on and off. You can knock them out of phase. That's changing the polarity. So you can do all that in a variety of different ways with switches on other guitars, or this Veritone thing, which I guess we'll explore in the future exactly how this works. But one thing I will tell you is that it's not good. I don't like it. You just keep it on the number 1 position. It just doesn't sound very good. It sounds a little bit like you're knocking out of phase in one position, but it just kind of sucks all the power and the bass out of the guitar, and it just, I don't know. I'm going to make a video strictly about this. We'll demonstrate sound demonstration soon, but otherwise it's a really nice guitar with the 9 strings on it, the 9 gauge strings. It sounded kind of weak and lifeless, but now that I put the 10s on it, it's much better. It works really great. Well, I like it. I don't like the Veritone. I thought that you'd be interested to know how an electric guitar works. And that's all I've got for you right now, because, yeah, we're unscripted and uncut, and I don't know what else to say. So please like the video, subscribe to my channel, and tell me what you would like to talk about, what you would like me to present. We have a music store. This is the annex of the music store. I've got about 20 different guitars in here. I've got a bunch of different vintage amplifiers from different eras in here. I have amplifiers that I build that myself. I have speaker cabinets. I have a bunch of different brand and types of speakers. I've made a few videos about speakers already, and I have more coming soon. I have a Jensen Blackbird speaker that I haven't really played yet, and we're going to make a video on that. I have a Jensen C12N speaker, a new production one, but I also have one from 1968, and we are going to compare those side by side. I have all sorts of vacuum tubes here to talk about. I actually have some, I don't know if you've ever seen these, metal 6v6s. 6v6s were originally in a metal envelope, and that's why if you get a 6v6 it says GT, because that's indicates that it's glass and not metal, or GC. Anyway, so that's all I have for you right now. You're going to thank me for scripting my past videos after seeing this one. But thank you for watching. I'll see you soon.